welcome once again to another edition of The Gliders on Bet WGB TV. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian, once again standing in as your host. We do this one final time for the month of March before the Easter holidays, and it's always a perfect time, always a good time for me to be on the microphone. We have a guest on the show today who is making a debut, his first appearance on the Gliders. I'm sure he's been keeping tabs with what we've been doing over the last couple of months. But first off, let me welcome Timothy on the show, sitting calm, cool, and collected as usual. Timothy, once again, good to have you on the Gliders.
Yeah, welcome and good day, Emmanuel. It's good to be back on another episode of the Gliders. I mean, it's always good to talk sports, and on the Gliders, it's always fun and interesting. And when you talked about the holidays, I was thinking about it that, I mean, holiday no kuku day for day for us.
The kind of work we do.
I mean, it's somehow, and that's the reason why. Okay, so whenever it's Monday or Sunday evenings or maybe Sunday night, you see people ranting that tomorrow is Monday again and all of those things. Most times I cannot relate because in the actual sense, it was like I never took a break. Like what I'm saying is the weekend came, but it was not like a break because you are probably busy. You are maybe at the stadium. You are going out for one sporting event or something. So whenever it's Sunday night and people are ranting that it's Monday again, I mean in my head I'm like, I can't relate to this because maybe when I was in school I used to relate with it, but now that I'm into the job fully, I can't relate to it because there was no weekend in the first place. You were working then Monday, so it's just like but there, of course there are some days where the work is not as tasking as it's always maybe during the week for people that are doing 9 to 5 and all that, but still the weekend was never a restful period for you. So I mean, coming into Monday, it's just as if you are continuing from one day into another one. So, and when you mentioned the holiday, I was thinking about it like, I mean, there will be no holiday.
No holiday for us.
The only difference it makes is that, when you're moving on the road, coming out, it's easier because a lot of people are at home. So, encounter traffic like you always do on a normal day. That's just the best part about it.
Indeed. I mean, this is what we signed up for. This is what we'll continue to do. And when you talk about no holidays, I mean, it will be the same for freelancers as well. That will lead me to the guest we have on the show today. His name is Bolu Jegede. Bolu, good to have you on the Gliders for the very first time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good to be here. First time right here with the Gliders family. I mean, I've been following what you guys are doing, and you guys are actually doing an amazing job.
Because I mean, it's one thing I always ask every of our guests. Yeah. Can you tell us about what we do? What you've made of, what you've watched before coming into the show?
Yeah. So I mean, people of all of the topics you guys talk about, you guys come with top-notch analysis of the happenings. From football to different sport and all, and I mean a lot of the guys here are some of my friends out there on the ground at grassroots level, and it's always a good time to actually hear from them. Sometimes we're always on the pitch, discussing about the sport and career and all, but sometimes when you hear them on the screen. And the perspective to and the ideas to the sport, and especially for their club side, so it's always great to have that feel. But sometimes it would be good to be on set with them when we discuss, but again overall it's been a brilliant one from you guys.
All right, thank you for
your kind words. Offer anything that we could do differently? Is there anything?
Maybe I can't really say for now, but maybe if I go through it again, when you watch 2-3 times, maybe there could be any change. But
I mean, but it's normal. There's always room for improvement.
Of course.
Everywhere, in every facet of life. Of course. So you can't always be perfect. But thank you for your kind words, Bolu. For those of you watching, you've heard from Timothy, you've heard from Bolu. It tells you we're going to have a fantastic show today. We have a lot to talk about. But just before we get into it, let's go on our very first break on the show. And when we return, a lot to talk about. We've got Mo Salah with that huge announcement. We've got some rules in the football game to talk about as well, and quite a few interesting topics to give you on the show today. So sit back, relax. Let's go on this very short break, and when we return, we get into it pretty much. Welcome back to the Gliders on Bet WGB TV, and like we always do every time on the show, we always remind you to enjoy the very best of the Bet WGB platform. As you can see on your screen, sign up with the promo code Gliders, GLIDRS, and get that bonus credit to enjoy the very best of the betting platform. And remember to bet responsibly. All right, guys, let's head on to our first talking point on the show. And of course, I'll start with our guest, Bolu. It's about Mo Salah. He came up with that announcement that he'll be leaving Liverpool at the very end of the season. This is quite emotional for me because I'm a Liverpool fan. I mean, he's one of my favorite Liverpool players. I know I've got one above, maybe two above Mo Salah. As we dissect, I'm going to give you guys my top three Liverpool players. I'm not an OG of old per se, but it's based on what I've watched. But Mo Salah, Bolu, how legendary is Mo Salah, not just to Liverpool, but to the Premier League? I mean, where would you rank Mo Salah in terms of Premier League greats, African greats? Just eulogize Mo Salah for us on the show today.
Yeah, Mo Salah is an amazing player, a player that actually created a special identity in Liverpool, because again, you look at how he started his career, had some couple of injuries with some of the big sides before he finally settled at Liverpool. And if you look at how he started, he started on a high note. He scored, I think, 40 goals and 10 plus assists also in the Premier League. And at that point, that this guy is in for the Premier League. And if you look at how the 8 years has gone, he became the face of the Premier League. He gave Liverpool an identity. He helped them win their first title after 30 plus years. He is somebody that he actually created a legacy. He won the titles, the Champions League, the Premier League, multiple times, and in fact scored a lot of goals. In an era where Liverpool weren't even the best team in the Premier League. He ensured that he stood out amongst every other player. Multiple PFA player of the season. The fans will surely miss his quality. The fans is surely they will miss his the cut and run from the right hand side. He just hit the ball. His technique on the ball is also something that the Premier League will also miss. These are the kind of player that's
Mo Salah holding the Premier League trophy there.
Yeah, if you look at how what the Premier League has become, and you look at the last decade, he was one of the face alongside the likes of De Bruyne and the likes, and he scored a lot of goals, like I said earlier. So, the fans are really sad that his kind of profile will not be seen again, maybe in the next 5 or 10 years. And if you look at how Liverpool has actually the kind of talent they've turned out in the last decade, Mo Salah is just an outstanding player. You look at how the trio also worked. With Firmino, with Sadio Mane. It's one of the true that I don't, as a United fan, I don't want my team to face this kind of true because they bring, the fear factor. When Salah is on the pitch, you as the opposing team, you have to be very cautious about how you go about your game, because if you're planning for every other player on the pitch, you have to pay special attention to Mo Salah, because he will surely take your defenders to the cleaners, and he's that kind of player. Because again, it lives in their memory. You can't compare those trio to the set of trio that Liverpool has right now, where you don't even know where exactly the quality or the goals is going to come from. So Mo Salah is an incredible player. If you look, talking about the Premier League greats you talked about, he's up there. He's up there among the Premier League greats. I think he's up there. And I won't want to, streamline to maybe top 5 or top 10, but I know he's up there. He's up there among the Premier League greats. And, in as much as City was winning the league in the face where he was a Liverpool legend, he was still a standout player. Because it takes a lot for Liverpool not to win the Premier League and still be the best player in multiple seasons.
Yeah.
It tells you the impressive work he has done. And if you compare that to the likes of Wayne Rooney, you compare the likes of Thierry Henry. These are like Wayne Rooney, for example. He won 5 Premier League titles. You look at Henry, he was the first export, in the Premier League. You look at the likes of Lampard as well. I mean, these are also Premier League greats. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be looking at the top 10 if I'm to put in, because there are a lot of pool of players. There's Cristiano Ronaldo also in the mix. So, for Mo Salah, no doubt is the best African export in the Premier League based on what he has done. Not even is even ranked ahead of the likes of Yaya Toure and Didier Drogba, in my opinion. So
that can be debatable.
That's why I said in my opinion, because I feel he's just an incredible player. Fine, a lot of people say he win just 2 Premier League titles. I mean, in those years, the significance of what he has done. I mean, with Liverpool after 30 plus years without the Premier League, and also individually standing out in seasons that they were in the best team in the land. I mean, it's cause for reckoning. And there's Riyad Mahrez also in the mix, but again, Riyad Mahrez had played with quality players all around, and they were. I mean, he wasn't even the highest scorer for Man City at that point. But Salah was single-handedly carrying that team, despite the fact that Firmino and Mane was also in the mix. So, he has done incredibly well. I think the Premier League is going to miss him. I'm also going to miss him because that meta football that club brought to that side. I mean, it was fantastic. So I'm going to miss Salah, and so it will be among the top 10 Premier League great.
Timothy, do you agree with Bolu that he's Africa's greatest export to the Premier League? Talking about Mo Salah.
Yes, I do, because firstly, maybe because I don't know, maybe because people can argue, like you mentioned, being debatable, but maybe because there's not so much. I don't know if this is the right word to use. There's not so much Africanness in the sense that maybe because Salah is not a black player, so you probably do not. You kind of seem as an. Of course, we know that Africans, the Northern Africans, they can also be classified as Arabian. So maybe that's why people would argue, because that obviously Didier Drogba is a black player. That obviously Yaya Toure is a black player in terms of his skin color. Mohamed Salah is also a black player, but his skin color is not black. So maybe that's why it's arguable. But I agree, because Salah is the only player that has won the PFA award 3 times. I mean, and like Bolu was saying earlier, in a time or in an era where City have dominantly won the league, if you come out to, in those seasons, become the highest goal scorer, not just become the highest goal scorer, be the player of the season 3 times. I mean, nobody has done it. Only Salah has done it 3 times. So it means that you're not just a player that spans across whatever Liverpool fans will say, okay, this was one of our best players over the years. But in terms of Premier League prowess, I mean, you could almost, let's even take it to FPL, Fantasy Premier League. In every season, maybe just aside this one where it's not, like even in a couple of games in this season, you still have people who have captain Salah, because there's always that trust. I mean, every season, if you go to maybe on the next episode, I'll try to gather the statistics of. I know that FPL, they used to put out their statistics. If you check online, and maybe you can even check as we are talking, Salah would maybe rank as one of the top 3 players that have been captained by FPL players over the seasons where FPL has started. So this is something that tells you that there's always that effect of goal contributions. If Salah is not scoring, he's also making assists. I mean,
most FPL points in a season, most bonus points in a season, most points in a single game, 3rd highest for most FPL points ever.
Exactly.
Talking about fantasy.
So see what I was saying, and then fantasy, as much as people are playing it in an imagination that the player is expected to do it, it is what the player exactly does that counts for points in fantasy. So from what you just figured out now, it means that there's always that place where Salah is going to deliver, and for over the years, and I think on the rankings of goal contributions since 2017-2018, Salah has 281 goal contributions in 310 games. I mean, that's something that's, even though he has played more games, but 281 goal contributions. The person that comes second is Song. The person that comes second is Song Heung-min with 173. you can see the stark difference between the person in first and second. And goal contribution means goals and assists. There's nothing like, oh, maybe pre-assist or anything. It's just your goals and assists. So it shows that Salah himself has been so superb. I mean, 173 for second place, 281 for first place. It's a whole lot of difference. And Salah has shown that he's that guy that, I mean, if Salah is playing for Liverpool, even if Liverpool are down, when Salah was on that, when Salah is on that pitch, even you as an opponent, you are scared till you get the final whistle, because you know that in a twinkle of an eye, I mean, Salah does not need all the moments. He doesn't need to do all of the dribbling and everything. At one instance, he's probably darting into your area, and then he's shooting and all of those things. So you expect that Salah, whenever he's on the pitch, I mean, your team or the opposition, if Salah is playing on your side, you're happy that, okay, Salah is playing on your side, anything can happen, and we can always get to that point where we get to see, okay, a turnaround for this team. If Salah is playing as the opposition side for you, you are scared that, okay, till we hear the final whistle, we can't slip off on him. I mean, I've seen so many goals where Salah doesn't even play well, maybe for 80 minutes. But
then he comes
between
up clutch with the goal. And
10 minutes, he's scoring 2 goals or giving 1 goal and assist, like you
Those are the
mentioned. So
moments,
that's what big players, just like or people will call great players in Premier League or maybe across different leagues, or people will call legends. That's what they do. You probably do not have to, at all instances of the game, give ball when it matters most, and in those moments where you can always pull out something out of nowhere is what will make is what makes us classify these people as great players, and that's what Salah classifies into. And obviously, I don't know if giving a number would be right, because me myself, there are so many, and then I don't even think it would be right, because firstly, for people of different generation, if you take it back to the older generation, they want to rank the likes of maybe Michael Owen, they want to rank the likes of maybe Tony Adams and all of those other players, which in my own sense, because I did not watch many of those players.
So from your own generation, where would you rank Mo Salah? Or let's say Premier League era, you know, or I don't know, how would you rank from what you've watched? Where would you place Mo Salah?
Emmanuel, you're trying to set me up.
Yeah, because I'm gonna, because you guys are still trying to play safe. And
no,
all
I'm
that.
not playing safe. What I'm saying is that,
where would you put Mo Salah? You know, in terms of, you know, Premier League greats.
In terms of Premier League greats,
From what you've watched.
From what I've watched, since I started following since 2006, I'm going to rank Salah in the top 5. Yeah, top 5. Mo
So
Salah.
who's ahead?
Firstly, I don't know who's ahead, but okay, I don't know if I'll say Wayne Rooney ahead because of the Premier League, the amount of Premier League titles he won. Maybe Wayne Rooney, and then maybe I don't know if I would say Salah next, because the fact that you won 2 league titles and then there's a Champions League, and the fact that you are the only player that have won the PFA award 3 times,
yeah.
puts you on that pedestal. I mean, if you win an award in a season when you're not winning the league and you are winning it consistently, I think the only time you won it when Liverpool won the league was it the 2020 or this last season? I think it was last season. That was when he won it as a player, as when Liverpool won the league. The other times, Liverpool did not win the league when he won it. So it shows that he's always putting his efforts. And even when he's not even still the PFA player, he was always in the conversation. I think so. Many times when I think there was a time Ruben Diaz won. There was a time was it Virgil van Dijk? I don't know.
Yeah, he was always
in that conversation.
Mix,
So it was not like, oh, in that season there was no a chance for him to have won it. So I think if I'm going to put in maybe Wayne Rooney and then maybe Salah will be second or third. Even though I don't want to do this number thing, but Emmanuel has forced me to.
We have to do it. Which will lead me back to Bolu now. You need to.
You go drop your own.
Put a number on it, Bolu. So, you know, in terms of what you've watched in the Premier League, where would you rank Mo Salah?
You know, if
there's any player here, tell us who is.
So there are a lot of players that I didn't watch, but you know, we heard about the great stuff they did.
Yeah.
And in as much as we didn't watch them, you have to still respect them.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to be careful not to put in.
So, maybe I'll also do top 5. I know that it's going to be very...
When you say top 5, so who are the 4 ahead? That's the thing.
Yeah, so I want to put it out there. I want to put a disclaimer, because I know that there will be a lot of disagreement. You know,
this clip is going to be out.
You will say I'm on TikTok now. You will say I'll be this fool.
Yeah, so I'm going to put Alan Shearer out there. I mean, won the Premier League with Newcastle and Bournemouth and Blackburn. I mean, top all-time highest top scorer in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So he has to be there. I'm gonna put Ryan Giggs. Most assists in the Premier League history. It has to be there. And multiple Premier League titles. I mean, so another player will be. It's difficult. I'll put Frank Lampard.
Ahead of Mo Salah.
No, I mean,
It's just putting
in
in top five.
Okay,
No,
still
in
in
no
top five.
particular
no
order.
particular order.
Okay,
In no particular order. I'll put Frank Lampard also there for what he did with Chelsea, and the most goals scored by a midfielder in the Premier League. Also, he has to be there. And despite the fact that he plays with quality players back then, so it will be there. Then I'll put Wayne Rooney and Mo Salah.
That makes up the five. All right. Now I saw a debate on social media, and it's quite interesting.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it to you both, because I mean, this is football. There are so many facets to the game. I know people avoid this a lot, but I want to put you guys on the spot, and we need to do it on the show. Mo Salah and Neymar. Who's better?
I know do that one.
No. Mo Salah and Neymar. Who's better? And give us why.
I don't like to compare players because we could do comparisons that sometimes don't tally. Firstly, you see people comparing players that you hear people say, N'Golo Kante and N'Golo Kante, who we know is a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
They're comparing him to an attacking midfielder.
No, this is they are both attackers.
So it's just straightforward.
So it's straightforward. So just
Salah is a right winger.
They're both wingers.
That's the thing. So this is quite different. So, from like I said, a lot of people have different ways we watch football games. A lot of us have different ways we analyze, different ways we see things in perspectives.
Yeah.
So Salah, Neymar, who is better?
So why I said I don't like to compare players. Firstly, in terms of what they can do, every player has what they can do. Neymar, we know that he's one of the most skillful players that we have ever watched, or I have ever watched. I don't know about other people, but we know that what Neymar can do on the skill. And then this is not a case of being skillful without productivity. Neymar will take you to the cleaners, go to your keeper and score. Neymar will take you to the cleaners, create an assist from that instance. Salah cannot do much of dribbling. I know that Salah can dribble, but if you are ranking dribblers, you probably will not rank Salah. In terms of goal scoring, Neymar can score goals. Neymar can dribble. Neymar can create assists. Neymar can, win you games. Neymar has also won you games. Salah also can dribble, not to the extent which Neymar would do. And to an extent, when Salah started getting to, I don't know if I'll say the peak, he started delving more away from scoring goals and prioritizing assists. So he can also assist a lot of goals. Salah can, in terms of pace, I don't think Neymar can match. In terms of you say you want to create a chance from nothing. We saw it many times. Alisson gets the ball, kicks it down. Salah is making that run, he picks it up and he goes ahead to score. So some of these things are why I do not want to compare. And then, especially when the similarities are so much alike, and then when both players can do a bit of, Salah has scored so many goals. I just read out his numbers. Goal contribution, goals and assists. He has the highest in the Premier League since 2017, 2018. Was that not when he got to Liverpool? So in terms of what, so that shows that he's someone that can score goals, he's someone that can assist. Neymar also is someone that can score goals, someone that can assist. In terms of trophies, I think Neymar has more. He won a lot of he won a lot of trophies with Barcelona. He went to PSG, also won so much trophies. In terms of national team, I don't think any of them has won a trophy for them. Salah has not won a trophy with Egypt. Neymar did not win a trophy with Brazil. I don't think Brazil did not win the Copa America at any time when Neymar was there. So it's hard to kind of do this comparison because I just feel like most times we should appreciate what they wear for themselves.
We
but
appreciate.
it's a different thing if you say, who would I pick?
We appreciate.
It's a different thing if you say, who would I pick?
Let me ask you. You don't go differentiate them for me. So let's.
Who is better?
My goodness.
Bolu is the guest on the show. Let him answer.
Football is not just about skills; it's about output as well.
I just mentioned Neymar has a lot of outputs. That's what I'm saying. It's not like Neymar just does his skills without outputs. There's a whole lot of outputs. Goals,
even the greats Bolu mentioned. The Premier League greats, the
Yankees, Frank Lampard, Alan Shearer.
Salah flaws almost all when it comes to outputs. Maybe apart from Alan Shearer, who's the highest goal scorer in the Premier League. When it comes to numbers, I don't think.
That's why I put Salah second.
We watch football game because if you ask me, I don't think it's hard. Mo Salah is better than Neymar.
Why?
Because it's not just about Neymar is just skillful.
No, before we say
doesn't have more productivity
would
than
you
Salah.
Okay, would you tell me about Neymar's numbers? Maybe we should talk about
wins games. Salah wins games as well.
That's what I was saying. What's Neymar's numbers? Because sometimes that's what I was trying to.
So anybody you can go and bring it up if you're in the comments. You can bring
Neymar's
it up. I don't
goals
think it's up to what So Bola, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I prioritize your output more than your skill set. I mean, you can have all of the skills in the world and your output will be very minimal. You may not be able to even impact your team or maybe go as far as winning titles or even winning individual laurels yourself because of your impact in your team and the success that your team have had over the period of a season or your career, if you want to, elaborate on it. So, but for me, in the end, I think I'll go with Mo Salah. I think in terms of talent and skill artistry, I don't think he's high there or up there with Neymar because Neymar is a skill set himself.
Aesthetically now.
He's a skill set himself. But in terms of the productivity, like you mentioned earlier, in terms of what they can do on the pitch, in terms of that fear factor, what they bring on the pitch. I mean, there's a reason why Sergio Ramos had to bring him down in the Champions League final. Because they knew what he can do. They knew what he was coming with. It wasn't even about what the press was saying. We saw what Mo Salah did that season. And we saw what Sergio Ramos did to him in the Champions League final. It tells you how scary he can be on the pitch. He's not one of the most technically or skillful player, but the output is just on another level. And I think I'm going to rank him ahead of Neymar. Because for Neymar, in as much as he came in so young, I think at 17, he was already on the podium of the biggest awards in world football. I think if you look at his career in total, I think he underachieved. He should have won more. Maybe win the Ballon d'Or at some point. Maybe some of the decision making he made, going from Barcelona to PSG, that really affected, his career, and he had surplus of injuries here and there, and really affected him as well. Because I mean, for Mo Salah, he's not really an injury player. And if you look at the longevity of their career, I think Salah also had more. He had more years, dominating the Premier League and also in world football as compared to Neymar. Which, if you want to look at the best of Neymar, maybe PSG, some couple of seasons where he won the league. And if you look at it critically, I mean, PSG will always win the league even without him. What they wanted more was the Champions League, of which he failed to deliver. Was it against Juventus now? I don't know who they lost to in the Champions League final. And if you compare, also you look at Barcelona. Fine, he won the Champions League with Barcelona, and with Messi and the likes. But as a player, I think he really underachieved. And if I'm not to look at the skill set and how he started back then, I think he should have won more. Maybe a Ballon d'Or with the multiple titles he has had to his name. And the numbers could favor him. But in the end, I think the productivity on the pitch is very crucial for me. And I think that is the reason why I'm going to rank Mo Salah ahead of him.
So now let me go back to the numbers talk. You see why I said
numbers, because I mean people look at it that.
Let me go back to the numbers.
I mean, Neymar had a longer career span because he started early, like you mentioned.
Yes.
So the goals at Santos, Barcelona, and all that.
PSG.
Yeah.
He had no more numbers. Yeah.
But maybe people might look at it from the Neymar, how many years did Neymar spend at Barcelona? I don't know.
At the
I'm
peak
not
of
so
his
sure. At
powers,
the
I
peak of
don't
his
think
powers.
he wasn't.
Compared to Salah's peak
compared
now.
to Salah's peak. Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's what people might just look at and say, okay, Salah edges it,
Yes,
because you look at the peak years in terms of output and all that. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Timothy.
No, what I was saying was the numbers thing. I think I just checked on Wikipedia. From what I can find, Neymar has about 443 career goals.
Absolutely.
Salah has about
span from
club and
Santos,
international,
country, Brazil and all that.
443 career goals, and the assist numbers is not accurate, but over 250. While Salah is, I think about, I don't know the assist numbers. It's not accurate.
Lesser
But-
games, yeah.
Yes, but the goals for Salah is about 399 career goals. That's why I said it's hard to kind of just use a direct instance saying, oh, the numbers because of this and all that. And
Yeah.
Neymar was also lethal at Barcelona. I mean, as much as you say MSN, it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, there's a case where you say MSN and then maybe the end, which is Neymar, was hiding. When you try to do a trio thing, like, oh, what I hated when Liverpool fans were always putting Firmino into the Salah Mane conversation. Because if you look at Firmino's numbers, they were not as effective as what Salah and Mane was always giving during those years. But it was just a case of, let's add up all the numbers together. But for MSN, Messi, Suarez, and Neymar was contributing as much as Suarez and Messi were contributing. So that's why I'm saying that really in terms of, trying to do the comparison, I really would not want to do it. But if you ask me, who I would pick, it's a different conversation because, of course, I have who is more preferential to me.
So who do you pick?
So if I'm going to pick someone, I'll pick Salah, obviously, because firstly, Salah is less prone to injury. As a coach,
that's one attribute people fail to see. Like,
absolutely,
he plays so many games.
Very
he
available.
plays so many games. So I'll pick Salah, obviously, because he's less prone to injury, and because, of course, like I mentioned, what Neymar can do, Salah can also do. I mean, the only difference is Neymar can entertain. But the point is, I want to watch football. I want to see this guy go and score goals. I want to see this guy take one or two players and put the ball into the back of net or create an assist for either of the other attackers or even maybe a midfielder who's making the run into the box. So that's why I'll pick Salah. But it doesn't mean like, Neymar in his own way is not great. But for Neymar, he's most times prone to injury. And then for Salah, who can always stay fit. I mean, he can also run, has so much pace. Because Neymar, it depends on the intensity of the game. If there's an intensity where you probably have to run so much, and maybe the game, your opposition is making you run at a fast pace, Salah would obviously beat Neymar over that. Neymar is not pacey, not like he's not pacey, but he can outpace Mo Salah when it comes to pace. So that's why I'll pick Salah. But yeah, Neymar is very fantastic as well.
Well, for me, as a Liverpool fan, I mean, I'm just going to streamline mine to Liverpool, to be honest. That I've watched, I mean, there's no greater Liverpool player that I've watched than Steven Gerrard, to be honest. It's up there.
What's with this Gerrard thing that people always say?
He was a leader.
He was a leader. There's nowhere he can't.
No, if we're saying, are we talking about leadership or? I mean,
even football-wise,
everything.
Like, there's nowhere.
I'm not trying to downplay.
So what's
no, I'm not trying to downplay. Okay. I'm not trying to downplay what Gerrard does or whatever I did. I know Gerrard, but I feel like if Liverpool, let me say, if Liverpool fans, many, let me not say all, if many Liverpool fans get someone even better than Gerrard, they will still always try to put Gerrard above the level of that player when in the actual real sense they know that this player has already outdone whatever Steven Gerrard do.
No, I'm talking about there's not been any better footballer than Steven Gerrard, because I know where you are trying to go. Maybe in terms
because
of
longevity,
and not just because of longevity. There's not been a better midfielder since Gerrard. Like in terms of this guy,
we're talking about player.
So overall player, like as a player
for Liverpool.
For Liverpoul.
What does Gerrard have over Salah? Please.
No,
I'm not trying to create.
You are the one that said you don't like comparing. You brought
no,
positional difference.
You can't say. No, I'm not comparing.
Salah is up there. Gerrard is behind midfield. So
what I'm trying to say is that I feel like me personally, I feel like in terms of great players that Liverpool have seen, I feel like Salah should be above Steven Gerrard. That's what I'm saying.
He's not. He's not.
And that's what I'm saying. What does Gerrard have over Salah
Now,
in terms of what makes him greater than Liverpool? Salah as a Liverpool player. That's why I said, is it longevity? Because most times we tend to look at, because this player played over 20, 25 years, and for someone who just played over 9 years, you can't bring him ahead.
Not just longevity for me. I'm the host of this show, but I don't know if I should be doing this. If I should also, but let me just do it. Not just longevity for me, because I mean, Gerrard's a local lad. First off, he has the endearing of the faithfuls, the Scousers in the team, and he's so versatile. Like, he's a born leader. There's no position apart from maybe goalkeeping. There's no position that Steven Gerrard can't play on the football pitch. Like, he's led this team as well. I mean, we all saw. If you ask so many people, what's the, maybe Gen Zs and recent footballers, what's the greatest football final you've ever watched? A lot of people say that 2005 Champions League final, because I mean that's the biggest game, for one of the biggest game of Liverpool Football Club. I don't think Mo Salah has, in a game as big as that 2005 Champions League final, where Mo Salah has really stood up and carried the team and stepped up, as big as that 2005 Champions League final. Steven Gerrard didn't get to win a Premier League title, but tell me again.
But Mo Salah did in the Premier League.
As big as that
Was it
2005
only Gerrard
Champions
that
League
was? Was it only Gerrard that did that? It's a team.
There are a lot of qualities in that team. There was
There was, but what I'm saying, like, he led that team, like, he sparked the comeback. Not just that team, there was the FA Cup final that followed suit, where he scored 2 goals against West Ham. So I'm talking about games where you need a player to step up and win you the trophy. Like, you carry the team. I'm not trying to shit on Mo Salah, but for me,
I'm not saying
if
you're
you
trying to
ask
shit on
me,
him.
Salah is nowhere.
Bro.
Like, it's not my top.
It's a Liverpool.
Steven Gerrard is up there, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Suarez's stint was short. I'm talking about ability wise now, football wise. I'm not talking about trophies, records, and all that. What Luis Suarez did in this few years at Liverpool.
Of course.
So
2018.
it's a close call between Suarez and Salah for me.
Yeah.
But undisputed Steven Gerrard.
If you're putting,
I don't want to dwell on Mo Salah too much. I just have to do this.
So quickly, if you're putting Steven Gerrard ahead of Mo Salah in Liverpool's great, then you're saying that if you're doing your top 5, Gerrard would be ahead of Mo Salah.
Ahead of Mo Salah, yes.
In the Premier League era. In the Premier League era.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he was going to be for me.
Gerrard.
For me, yes, to be honest.
Still like Gerrard.
My goodness.
To be honest, for me.
Gerrard ahead of Mo Salah.
Thierry Henry would be ahead of Mo Salah. Gerrard would be ahead of Mo Salah would be in the top 5 as well.
I can agree with Thierry Henry, but Gerrard ahead of Mo Salah in the Premier League great.
Oh, you're talking about Premier League great.
Premier League
as a whole.
Yes,
I was talking about Liverpool great. As well.
That's
No,
why I
compared it to what you asked us initially.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe not Premier League.
Okay,
great, but,
okay.
I was talking about Liverpool.
Yeah, you're streamlining to
Liverpool as a whole.
Okay, no problem.
Of course, yeah, that's what I'm,
no problem.
You wanted to rope me into.
I just
but I'm
wanted to be
surprised
sure.
you guys didn't mention Thierry Henry. But let's not.
I mean,
dwell on this conversation a lot. But I mean, credit to Mo Salah, fantastic player. It's not just going to be a miss.
I mentioned just 2 names. I would have mentioned Thierry Henry actually.
Yeah, so Mo Salah.
You won't rope me. I did not want to go to that numbers thing because I mean there are so many names that you can call.
I mean,
the likes of Rio Ferdinand.
Moments are just impeccable. Players with moments. Like you mentioned, very crucial point the other time that there are players that they don't show. When we watch games sometimes, a lot of we viewers and journalists and some of the football fans that we watch games with, and they're like, this player is the best player on the pitch, but we've not seen him for 80 minutes. What's going on here?
That's Sergio Busquets.
Why is the coach not removing him just because he hasn't even done anything thus far? But again, there's a place of moment with those kind of players.
Yeah.
Just few moments you give them, they change the game around. Maybe that before then the game was goalless, it was not interesting, but those kind of players, they just they take charge of that moment and they win those games. So I mean, these are where you place the likes of Mo Salah in. Moments, innovations, I mean, moments where you could feel there's nothing really going for Liverpool here. And before you know it, Salah is up there. He has scored a goal, maybe has created an assist that led to a goal, maybe the winning goal in the end. I mean, these are where you put Premier League greats. I know that you talked about Thierry Henry. Yeah, special, honorable mention for Thierry Henry, but in my opinion, he's not in the top 5.
Well, we'll leave those in the comments to George. Tell us, where you rank Mo Salah amongst Premier League greats and also amongst Liverpool greats. Do well to share your thoughts with us in the comment section. We'll go on our final break on the show, and when we return, we'll talk about the rules. I'll bring up a side story of, the rules of the game, the IFAB rules. Which of the rules would you love to see? Would you love to change as far as the rules of the football game is concerned? We'll also talk about the World Cup, the playoff. It's the playoff weeks, and we'll also be talking about our favorites for the World Cup coming up this summer. Our final break on the show. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Welcome back, still the Gliders on Bet WGB TV. If you've been with us from the very beginning, it's been a wonderful time. Brilliant analysis from Timothy and Bolu talking about Mo Salah. We have to give Mo Salah a special session on the show because of his legendary status, what he's done with the Premier League, 9 seasons with Liverpool. But like we always remind you, remember to bet responsibly on the Bet WGB platform. Now, guys, let's talk about some rules, some IFAB rules as far as the game is concerned. Now, we know there will be new rules to be implemented, to be tested rather, at the Summer World Cup. The throwing rules and all that. The for goalkeepers as well, the delay, the 8-second rule before you release the ball. Now, these are rules that governs the game of football. There's also the substitution rule as well. With time wasting in substitutions where players want to be subbed off, the feign injuries. Now, if you delay, you can delay all you want. The referee is going to give you the time, but the repercussion is the substituted player won't be able to come on till after a minute or so. So if you like delay, the player they won't bring, no go enter. So a lot of this. Now, talking about rules of the game. Now, which of these rules would you want to change that has been implemented so far? That would you want to see that? What's that? You get a feeling like, what's this? It's not needed. What are those rules in football game? But I'll start with you because we had this conversation off air. So what are those rules that you want to see? Just scrap it as far as the game of football is concerned.
Yeah, talking about those rules, there are a lot of rules, but
a whole lot. Yeah,
the one that tops it for me would be the penalty during the game. The rebound. I think it should be scrapped. I don't like it because again, what is the intent? You have all the time in the world to take a penalty. If you miss it, you miss it.
So once you miss,
I think FIFA should try and scrap it. I don't like it. I see it as injustice on the part of the opponent because again, before the penalty, a lot of decisions have been made. VAR help you double check to get a penalty. The player either have gotten a red card or a yellow card, or the goalkeeper even in the mix of it, or maybe get a yellow card because I know they don't get a red card again for penalties. That's for the goalkeeper. So they've gotten a yellow card, or the outfield player has gotten a red card. So the team has been reduced to a man, a man down and all of that. So in the end, if you want to play the penalty, you have the time in the world. I don't know if you're a quality penalty taker or not, but if you take it and the goalkeeper, because if you look at the part of the goalkeeper as well, before now, the goalkeeper can stand outside the line of the goal post to make a save.
But
now you've reduced it. Now they stay inside the box of the post. Then if they want to even make a claim to save the ball, one leg has to be outside according to the rule. And they still try their best to make a save, and yet you now concede from a rebound. It's gibberish for me. I think that it doesn't make sense for me, and I think it should be scrapped.
How about
that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
anyway.
very interesting. But how about curtailing that
it.
a bit and say, okay, goalkeepers can come off the line? So if goalkeepers can come off the line, would you still want to see the rebound scrapped?
No,
at least it has limited.
So it's one leg in the end. It's not as if you're bringing the two leg how to make a save. So you're still restricting them as far as I'm concerned. Because at first I still don't. I didn't agree with that point of them having just one leg out of the line and all. But when I look at it again, I think, when goalkeepers come out to claim the ball from the previous rule, they come all out. So they make themselves very bigger, to make a save. So at that, I think they have the biggest advantage at first. But when, when FIFA now reduced them to just staying on their line to make a save, and now it depends on, because at that point you've given the penalty taker the
So
biggest
much
advantage
Yeah.
to score the goal. So if you now take the ball, and in as much as you limited the limited goalkeeper now has the idea, or maybe he reads the ball so well and make a save, why exactly do you still want to have a rebound when you have the advantage as the taker? Why are you having because you already have an advantage already. Why they reduce the goalkeeper? But the goalkeeper still try, because the post is quite big. I mean, we cover games and we see how big the goalkeeper and how weight it is. And in their own knowledge and their own skill set, they try to make a save. Why exactly do you want to have a rebound? There's no need for the part that a player or the players behind the taker is there. Then he has to, the encroachment of trying to get a rebound.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense for me. They should just follow the template of the normal penalty shoot itself.
So once you miss,
Once you miss, I mean, the game should just, you've missed. They should go and find, maybe create another penalty from another open play, process in the game. But as far as I'm concerned, I think it should be scrapped.
this is quite interesting.
Very, very.
The more you speak, you convince me why it should be taken out. I get your point, but I mean, it's still up for debate. The IFAB can still look at it and see what they can do. Timothy, a lot of rules governing the game, but which one irks you the most that you want to see taken off?
Honestly, I do not think that too many rules have to be changed. But if there's anyone I would say that should be changed, it would have to be the offside rule. Because tell me why. I mean, I feel like maybe. I feel like for
So which of the offside rules that?
yeah, of course, I want that until a player is completely over the line ahead of someone. Like, okay, let's say I'm placing these two things side by side
Timothy Arsene Wenger.
until this thing is ahead, like totally, like, oh, I'm crossing over your body totally.
Yeah.
But not like, oh, I'm using my head to go above you, or using just my, I mean, even now with VR, they'll show maybe just the tip of your finger.
Yeah.
It's ahead of someone, and we
You're
call it
offside.
offside. It's kind of strange because I mean, if I can make that fast run, or if I can go ahead of you quickly, I mean, I'm taking advantage of you. You should. As an attacker, it's up to you as a defender to quite be wary or be conscious of being at that position and say, okay, I can outrun you. I mean, okay, let's use instances now. Let's say I don't know how to describe this, but let's say this is an attacker. Let me use the far right side, far left side. Sorry. Let's say an attacker is trying to go ahead of a defender. Let's say the defender is just a few meters away from the attacker. We have seen instances where that defender still does his best, tracks back, outrun the attacker, and still recovers the ball. So if that can happen, why should I be in a position where, okay, because I'm just a little bit ahead of you, and then you now say, okay, I'm in an offside position. I feel like offside I am totally out of position over you. All my body part is over you, and then I feel like that's one. If I'm going to say, oh, there should be an effect, which I feel like will not happen, but if there's anyone I'm going to say, oh, should be an effect, that's the one I'll put, because I feel like offside should, okay, totally outside of your zone or totally outside of your body, but just my hand,
But a
just
part
my
of the leg can score a goal.
What do you say?
But a part of your leg can score a goal.
Yeah,
So is that you disagreeing with?
No, I'm
because when you say a part of you can still score a goal, that part that can
score a goal.
keep you offside can still score a goal.
Yes.
I get it anyway, but I still feel like offside should, losing my instance of the fact that even if when a player is ahead of, an attacker is ahead of a defender, in terms of some instances, we've still seen defenders or midfielders, as the case may be, or even attackers, try to recover the ball back. So it should just be a case of, I mean, if I'm offside, try to run as best as you can and recover the ball.
And that's the most controversial rule, is it? This marginal offside rule.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because I mean, it doesn't.
Like the most
it's
It's crazy because I mean,
controversial.
I am scoring a goal and then you're saying, oh my lip.
Even right now, to just to buttress this point. Even right now, if you look at, I think there was a goal Ronaldo scored for the national team. I don't know if it was the Euros, where we felt it was offside, but his body, the ball, was like when they draw the line, the ball was in front of, like it wasn't in front of the ball, like the ball was ahead of him.
Yeah.
In when they drew the line, I'm like,
how is this offside? Like,
Ronaldo was ahead of the player, the last man, when they drew the line, but yet the ball was still ahead of him. So in that instance, Ronaldo was onside. And I'm like, how exactly? Because again, I mean, it's the FIFA rule. Like that's what they say right now. When the ball is ahead of you, as the player that scored the goal is offside. But I think I kind of agree with him again, because again, it has really caused a lot of controversy.
And then, sorry to cut you short, one
all.
of the issue I have with it is that sometimes they're not, it's confusing. If you want to say that, okay, let's do it one particular way, but when it has about 2-3 sides to it, it makes it mess with our head, and you're looking like, how is this offside? But if I know that, okay, I'm totally ahead of you, we know that, okay, this is definitely offside. It's not like today I'm saying, oh, this is this way or this is that way. But on some instances, the way you see it and the way, maybe semi-automated or they draw the line, sometimes in your own face, watching it, you know that this is not offside. But the officials say, okay, this is offside. There are so many sides to, okay, this is offside and this is not offside. So I feel like if there's one direct rule, that, okay, this is what we count as offside, it will really make, okay, everything lesser in terms of being controversial or all that.
And just to quickly add too, I think FIFA and IFAB, they make the rules, right?
Yeah.
Now, the way different football league bodies have interpreted it, or some have not even followed the rules, is the reason why we're having this kind of issue.
Yeah.
Because when the automated offside rule was out, I don't think the Premier League did not follow it immediately. They had to check. They said they are not convinced. All of those things. Even till now, they still struggle.
Now, there's probably a conversation where they could even maybe scrap VR in the Premier League. Maybe, but I don't think it will happen anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, it's, when these bodies are not following it, it really affects a lot of teams. Especially when you are battling for the title or you are battling for relegation, and the rules or the IFAB rule is not followed to the core. Especially from the Premier League. I know that the likes of the La Liga teams, the La Liga authorities, the French authorities, they follow it to the latter. But in the end, if to curb issues and problems from different league bodies and all, I think maybe this your what they call it now, the Asemenga.
Yeah, the offside rule. Yeah.
Timothy Asemenga rule. Maybe that could make sense in the end, because sometimes the hairbreadth of a player, it keeps him offside, and I'm like, how exactly is this an offside? But again, it is what it is. I think if they can follow it, I think it will make sense, because again, the constant thing is all of this is change.
All right, the guys have spoken the rules they would love to see, being scrapped or being changed. You can tell us in the comments as well if you agree. I think for me, I agree with the penalty rebound rule and all that. But talking about rules, I mean, some of them will be implemented at this summer's World Cup. Talking about the substitution rule, the 10-second substitution rule, where players will be given 10 seconds to make way. The 5-second countdown for throw-ins and goal kicks as well. So,
but training has been part of this thing, right?
But now, I mean, there's gonna be a 5-second countdown. So no much time for you to wait for towel to clean the ball.
So how exactly do you want to throw? And there's a foul throw somewhere.
I mean, let's see how it pans out from the.
You get what I'm saying?
Let's see how it pans out from the World Cup and see how it is. Sometimes these rules are implemented and taken back, but let's see how it goes in this summer's World Cup. Talking about the World Cup, we're going to be wrapping the show with this one. It's the playoff week, the final. And I mean, teams are still jostling for a place in the World Cup. I think we've got 6 more spots to fill. But let's talk about our favorites for the World Cup now. I saw something online, and it convinced me that France are my favorites for the World Cup because the squad is so stacked. Talking about, how when players are called up, there's this 11 of players that are missing. The first 11 of players that didn't call up, and that were missing and all that. But I saw something on social media where with the French national team across the board, you can build 5 solid lineups from that France squad. I mean, you can build the first team, you can build the second team, a third team, fourth team, even a fifth team. I hope our producer can put this up on the screen for people to see as well. But who are your favorites, guys, to win the World Cup from what you've seen so far? This not too much analysis. Just before we come in on our thoughts, you can see on your screen this could be the first team for France. With the front 3 of Mbappe, Olise, and Dembele as well. When you go to the midfield, you can also field in these particular players in the midfield as well. As far as the first team is concerned, Kone, Chemeni, Cheki. In the defense, Hernandez, Upamecano, Saliba, Koundé, Magnan, the goalkeeper. And these are players who play for top clubs in major leagues across the world. For second team, Chavalia, the goalkeeper of PSG, Hernandez, the brother, Lukeba, Konate, Pavard. Imagine Konate in the second team, Pavard in the second team. Midfield, Rabiot, Kamavinga, Kefren Turam. Up top, Bakola, Chelsea's nightmare. There's also another player up top as well, Ekitike for Liverpool, and Desiree Doué for PSG as well. If you go to the third team, there's Koeman, there's Thuram, there's Arkelouche, there's Kante, there's Kamara, there's Emery, there's Digne, there's Gusto, there's Bade, there's Lenny Yoro, and there's Samba. If you go to the fourth team, there's Areloa in the goalkeeping position, there's Mendy of Real Madrid, there's Fofana, there's Kalulu, there's Mukiele, there's Boadi, there's Tolisso, there's Nkunku, there's Mateta, there's Talvan. And if you go to the fifth team as well, you've got players like Kolomwani, like Krupi, like Pogba, who's making a return, like Fofana, Sacha Boy, Lacroix, Lenglet. I mean, you can go on and on. So with all of these, with all my shenanigans, and with all my agreements that France are my favorites to win the World Cup. Bolu,
Yeah,
what do you think?
yeah, I have to agree with you.
World Cup? Yeah. For the fact that they have a manager who's won it before as well.
Yeah, I mean, France is my own favorite to win the World Cup. They made it to back-to-back finals, and I think they are favorite for this one. I mean, look at the quality you just mentioned. These are stacked. These are quality stacked everywhere.
Everywhere across board. Yeah.
I mean, the fourth team and the fifth team, and I'm like, some of those players in
other
the
countries'
fourth,
first team.
they might. I mean, they're enough to get into some of the other European football teams that are going to the World Cup. But again, in the end, it's about how the manager uses all of those players.
Yeah,
and that is why you have Didier Deschamps. He's an experienced, campaigner at the World Cup, won it as a captain, also, as a coach. And he knows how to bring out the best. They don't necessarily play the best brand of football, but they know how to navigate, themselves to get, the best out of. I mean, I've not really watched some of the friendly games they've played, but again, yesterday I was going through the game they played against Colombia, the last friendly game they played.
Played against Brazil too, yeah.
Played Brazil too, and I looked at the team and I'm like, Doué scored, and I'm like, look at the team that started this game. And I'm like, wow, what a team, France, and you've read it out already. So I mean, the unfortunate thing would be any of these big players that are part of the team right now getting injured.
Yeah.
Then your chances of playing at the World Cup is gone. Then you give, there's enough quality, so you don't just want to get injured. In the next few set of games that will be played, maybe in their clubs and when they go back.
You want to have it not more than 4 weeks.
Exactly. I mean, no more than 4 weeks, and so that you can get ready for the World Cup when you're back. But right now, I think France are favourites. I don't know if we were to do a top 3, but I think France.
Okay,
are
let's make it quick because time is not. On
okay,
our side,
France. Then Portugal and Spain.
France, Portugal, Spain.
Yeah.
Which African country go farthest? Senegal. All right, Timothy. Do you agree with my take that France is going to be the favourite?
Yeah, of course. When you look at the quality,
this is unprecedented.
I mean, it's
France.
And then,
agreed.
I'm trying to look at the other European teams, and to be very honest, I'm not seeing anyone aside which I'm going to put Spain And Spain, because in the past few years they've been a team that they do not typically amount to stars in terms of, okay, when you look at this one, okay, you can say this is a star across different clubs where they play for. Maybe just about 5-6 players there. Maybe David Raya, Lamine Yamal. At a point, there was what was this other guy on the other wing? This Atletico de Madrid, Athletic Bilbao player.
Williams?
Yes, Nico Williams.
Nico
I mean,
Williams.
this is a team that has Mikel Oyarzabal starting as a striker, and then you see how much effectiveness they bring to it. So I feel like for Spain, there's that
Sorry, earlier
cohesion.
on, Bolu talked about players who are not, you don't see their work, but then they really they work.
Exactly, that's
As you
Mikel
mentioned,
Oyarzabal.
exactly, that's one of
I
the
mean,
players.
so is De La Fuente has kind of puts that team together in a shape that they can always deliver when it comes to team efforts. I mean, you see them playing from. They don't have the strongest of defense. This is a team where Kubasi is starting. This is a team where this other I can't remember this Barcelona defender. They start. So it just shows you that there's that part of team cohesion for them. And then when we go into tournament, we saw them won the last Euros.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they would be able to put that into winning this World Cup, but I feel like France and then this what's the name? Spain, like I did mention, and Argentina. But my issue with Argentina, firstly, Argentina is a strong team. But my issue with Argentina is the zeal from some of the players.
As, defending champions.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm putting them. But my issue with them is maybe the zeal from some of the players, the likes of Lionel Messi. I mean, Messi has already won it. Maybe the zeal that he
Wouldn't
put
be
into
as
2022,
Yeah.
the likes of Di Maria, he has already won it. The likes of Otamendi, the zeal may not be there. That okay, of course, I'm not saying anybody probably wants to win back-to-back World Cup, but
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's that place of we have been here
chasing the
twice.
very first. Yeah.
And then the fact that they had been there in that position, I think about twice or 2014.
Yeah, 2014.
2014, yes. I think 2018, okay, they lost in the quarterfinal. So 2014 comes back to their head and knowing that they were close. So
Very good,
coming
sir.
into 2022, you knew that no, this is something we have to die there. So maybe that zeal is not going to be there. But yeah, I'll say France, Spain, and I mean, England don't know how to win things, and they've not really convinced me. And but the fact that they've always gotten to semi-final of competition, I mean, back-to-back Euros, playing in the final, the last World Cup playing in the semi-final, maybe that could just be an edge for them. So, but yeah, let me just stick with Spain, France, Spain, and Argentina.
Argentina, yeah. African country to go the farthest.
Yeah, of course, Morocco.
Still Morocco.
Yeah,
But
Morocco.
not semi-final like last time.
I don't know.
Was it semi-final they got to?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
got
got
to
to
the
semi-final.
semi-final. Yeah, still Morocco. Let me say Morocco and Senegal, because Senegal, they're building a team that, I mean, you know, when you know that Sadio Mane is leaving at this point and you're not scared. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, because there's so much players. There's this player at Wolves at the moment. I can't remember his name.
Matthias Mane.
Yeah, I don't know if they are going to call.
Yeah, he
if
still
he's
plays for
going
England.
to,
Yeah.
I think it's still for the under-20s.
Yeah,
They still have a
unders,
chance of calling him up. So, Senegal and Morocco, of course. But my issue with Morocco is maybe the fact that they are transitioning into a new coach at the moment. So, but of course, the players are still the same. You look at the players, Brahim Diaz, I mean, Saibari,
Yeah.
Enesiri, Unai, and El Kanous. I mean, at the last friendly games, they were without Nayaf Aged and what was this other defender that was playing at the AFCON. But you could still see how much they troubled the team in which they play. So, Morocco and Senegal for me.
Morocco and Senegal. Talking about the
Unfortunately, there will be no Nigeria.
World Cup. Unfortunately, we've gone
We
past
don't
that
want
one.
to think about it.
Let's not dwell on it. But talking about the World Cup, the final playoff.
If you play World Cup, na FPL, I mean, na fantasy.
The final four playoff spots will be determined this week. We've got Sweden taking on Poland, Bosnia taking on Italy, Kosovo taking on Turkey, and Czechia taking on Denmark. Then the other two from the Interconfederations playoff, with DR Congo still having a shout
Against
when they take on
Jamaica.
Jamaica. So a
Iraq
lot to
against
expect in this
Bolivia.
final week. It's the final international break before the end of the season. So continue to enjoy the very best of football. Continue to enjoy the thrills, the excitement, the drama. By the time we are back here, it's on Easter Monday and club football will be back. It's been a wonderful time on the show. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian. I've done this with Timothy, and to our guest, Bolu, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, always a pleasure. I hope I had a great debut.
We'll leave that to the viewers to judge, but I'm sure they've enjoyed the very best of your analysis. So the show is always interactive. For every of the talking points, from Mo Salah's heroics to the rule change we would love to see being implemented, and also our favorites for the World Cup. Tell us what you think. Drop a comment. Continue to like. Continue to engage. And don't forget to always subscribe. Turn on notifications to enjoy the very best of our content. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Till we come away again next time. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye-bye.